Hey gang, it's Yergs. Happy Friday. Frustrating Friday for me. We just did a really good 20-minute show of analysis with comparisons between Bitcoin and the NASDAQ. I'm looking to my left because there's a very big monitor that you're going to see in a minute. But today is driving me to have a few of these. Just let me get some of that for a second. We just did the entire 20-minute show with me muted. And we had a couple followers that were watching and nobody said anything. So speaking of saying something, if you're joining us from Facebook, go to StreamYard.com. It's right down there in that scrolling, StreamYard.com/Facebook, and click through that, grant permission so that we know it's you. Speaking of social media, find us anywhere you want to be. That's the 6 that we're on right there: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, and LinkedIn. You can watch this on Facebook, 3 separate accounts on Facebook. We've cut back to 2 on YouTube because one of them is just my personal, and there's nobody on there anyway. And then 1 on Twitter. And then 2 more on LinkedIn. So 4 platforms that we're on. That second one on LinkedIn, we're actually not on yet. We're almost there. We've got 110 viewers or 110 subscribers, 110 followers, whatever it is, for the Doggy Traders page on LinkedIn. Thanks to everybody that's joined that and helped us get to that minimum 150 that we need. And once we hit that, we'll be broadcasting there as well. So, in addition to being on all of those, let's get rid of that too, so you can actually see what we're looking at. Like the content that we're doing for you, comment about it, join the conversation, subscribe, and turn the notifications on so that when we go live a second time, you can join us when we've turned a mic on. And then, most importantly, please help us develop this community. Share. Send these videos out to all your fellow traders and investors and get them into the conversation as well. Got a good show for you today, a second time, and we'll show it to you right after. So Doggy Traders for Friday the 21st. Remember that I am not your broker. I am not your financial advisor. I'm not your secretary. I am just an educator. I'm new at this. That's the point, because for those of you that are new as well, I can dumb it down to something that you're going to understand and hopefully still bring in some of the actual experts to take part in the conversation. Speaking of educating, today we're going to talk about similarities. As most of you know, I'm training my son, homeschooling my son, and we're learning a lot of the day trading together. I'm teaching him what I know already. There he is, smile. And he didn't look back in the last video. I'm teaching him day trading. That's his math class. His economics class is taught by Dave Ramsey. And one of the things he learned, and one of the things we kind of figured out together, is that the NASDAQ and the S&P 500 move very similar to each other. And we've got a friend that we had on the show a couple weeks ago, Dr. Mike, wake trader. He trades nothing but the NASDAQ, is killing it, is turning his vacation home from a $4 million home into a $5 million home. So he's doing something right. But what we wondered was, what are the combinations or what are the correlations to the cryptos? So today we're going to compare the NASDAQ, what Dr. Mike's trading, with Bitcoin, what I had always been trading. And so let's bring that in, take a look at that. There we go. That's what it looks like. That's on the 1 month candles. Um, right. Yes. Yes. And those are beginning the first of each month. And the biggest thing to take away from that is the similarity. It's not a twin, it's not identical, but look at the similarity between each in, steady climbs here, steady climb throughout that, similar period. This one, Bitcoin peaked a little higher by comparison, or a little bit more um, as far as a wick on that candle. But still, when Bitcoin went down some, the Nasdaq went down some, and then there's this big blue party on the Nasdaq. Little bit more consistent, maybe. Blue party through here with a jump. We all know when that was. That's when we hit those numbers. And yeah, there we go. That one's showing 65. Other reports are saying that it was at 69,000. Whatever it was, that's when it first hit that all-time high of being in the 60s, and as well as down here in the Nasdaq, when the Nasdaq hit in November of 21, just almost a year ago, when it hit almost 17,000 points. And then we got this red candle here. We got this red zone of candles here. And then this downward trajectory from November of last year to where we are today, a year later. Same thing on the NASDAQ. NASDAQ's looking a little better this month, but we still got 2 weeks. Bitcoin can turn around as well. So the similarities, what we noticed was that in the S&P 500, the moves that happen in the S&P 500 happen a little bit sooner. So we can take that perhaps and use that to trade off of the NASDAQ. If the S&P 500 is into a blue party and maybe the NASDAQ isn't yet, maybe the NASDAQ has hit that bottom and it's going to turn around too. So just the similarity. The other reason we took a look at this way with Bitcoin versus the NASDAQ, one, for this, NASDAQ is essentially just unscientifically just looking at stocks in general. And Bitcoin is looking at cryptos in general. Not just the fact that Wake Trader trades a NASDAQ and I had up until now only pretty much traded Bitcoin. It's also comparing the two markets. So many naysayers are still saying that cryptos are not going to be around in the future, when in all actuality, a lot of those other indicators on there are saying that Bitcoin and cryptos in general are actually getting stronger. I mean, what other currency out there do you need? What is it today? Roughly $19,000 of to equal one U.S. dollar, or just the opposite. $19,000 to equal one Bitcoin. There's nothing else that has that strength. So other than other cryptos that aren't as close to Bitcoin. So Bitcoin's at least, people are really starting to realize that it has a future. One of the biggest historic naysayers to cryptos in general, especially Bitcoin, has been Warren Buffett. But when we were on a call earlier this week with Curtis Cobain from International Markets Live, one of the crypto guys that I follow, he actually showed, I got it here. Yeah, look up Energy Web. Google this yourself. Look it up. Energy Web is owned by Warren Buffett's company, Berkshire Hathaway, and that he's tied in with that. Energy Web has a top up-and-coming crypto. So, he's in it. He's realizing that the whole, it's a bubble, it's never going to be anything. You have never heard him explain why it's still here 12 years later, have you? So maybe it's because he's in it. Anyway, that's today's story. Let's get into, first of all, let's take that out. And let's get into some of the numbers for what's happening today. These prices are still, I checked it in between the last show that I was muted for and for this one. They're still, really ballpark. Here's the majors trading through TradingView. USD JPY is 147.57. The Euro USD 98 cents and change. The Pound USD 112.99, almost 113. Pound JPY 166.84. USD CAD 136.43, and the Aussie dollar 63.84. Very little movement since Wednesday, and a lot of people. Another reason why I've been comparing these two is because one of the things that Curtis Cobain pointed out in our call earlier this week was that every midterm election, the week after the election, there's a jump or a dip on some level, and he actually showed it. Biden is about to have his first one. Back in 2018, we actually Googled for him what was the actual date of the 2018 Trump midterm, and so he went a week after, and boom, there was a jump or a dip. I'll let you find out exactly which one it was. Did the same thing for 2014 for Obama's last midterm election, and the same thing happened 1 week later. Into the cryptos, Bitcoin, like I said, 19,199. ETH, the only one that's up in this bunch, is 1302. It broke $1,300. Solana 2823. XRP USD 45.25. Cardano 34.90. Little movement since Wednesday again. ETH is the only one in that bunch that's up since Wednesday. Into the indices, Nasdaq 11,333. That's a good number. S&P 500 is at 3760. The US 30 is at 31,123. There we go. Dow Jones 31,082. All up since Monday, and again since Wednesday. If you remember Wednesday's show, they were up since Monday. So what I do is I leave those numbers on this rotating banner, and when I go through and change all of them for today, I notice that they were up again. So that's everything, gang. As always, trade crazy, trade safe. Have a great weekend. We will see you again on Monday, 11 p.m. Central European time. That's right, we are global. We do have some European friends and even some Asian friends that join us late at night or middle of the night, or they'll see it later. 5 p.m. then here on the East Coast, and 2 p.m. Pacific. See you on Monday. Till then, trade crazy, trade safe. Have a good weekend.